closed despite detaining President Mugabe and seizing control of state-run media. General Sibusiso Moyo assured the public that the military is not taking over Zimbabwe's government. USA Today: Zimbabwe's long-ruling President Robert Mugabe was under house arrest in the capital of Harare on Wednesday after the military seized control of the country's state broadcaster and international airport and his military vehicles patrolled the capital. It appears that Mugabe, 93, the world's oldest head of state, has been deposed by a coup, the Associated Press reported. The army said it had detained Mugabe and his wife Grace but denied staging a coup and said normalcy would soon return after it completed its mission of rooting out criminals who are targeting the nation's leader, who has ruled the country for 37 years. It is not a military takeover of government, General Sibusiso Moyo said in a short statement read out on national TV. He gave assurances that Mugabe and his family were safe and their security guaranteed. Moyo said that the people the military was targeting had caused social and economic suffering. Overnight, military vehicles were on patrol and gunfire could be heard in the northern part of Harare, where Mugabe and some government officials lived, the BBC reported. Reuters reported that Finance Minister Ignatius Chamba was also detained. While the military insisted there was no coup, its actions appear to leave it in control. More 5 things to know about Zimbabwe's President Robert Mugabe. As the saying goes, if it whacks like a duck, quacks like a duck, then it probably is a duck, and the Zimbabwean military is using coup-like language, said Derek Matashik, a researcher at the Institute for Security Studies in Zimbabwe, according to South African news website IOL.com. However, the military hasn't declared martial law, they haven't suspended the constitution, and they claim that they have surrounded President Robert Mugabe for his own protection, not to overthrow him. So in that sense, what is happening doesn't fit the exact definition of a coup, Matashik added. Matashik said he thought Mugabe was being pressurized to resign, IOL.com reported. Mugabe has said he will run in the 2018 election. The BBC said the army's actions could be an attempt to replace Mugabe with Emmerson Mnangagwa, the former defense minister who Mugabe fired as vice president last week. Jacob Zuma, the president of neighboring South Africa, spoke with Mugabe over the phone Wednesday and said in a televised address soon afterward he hoped Zimbabwe's military would respect the constitution so the situation will not go beyond the situation where it is now. He said Mugabe is fine but was confined to his home. Some media reported that Grace Mugabe, 52, is believed to have left the country for Namibia, while others said she was still at the couple's home in the affluent Harare neighborhood of Borrowdale. Zuma appealed for close. Zimbabwe's army said Wednesday it has President Robert Mugabe and his wife in custody and is securing government offices and patrolling the capital's streets following a night of unrest that included a military takeover of the state broadcaster. November 15. Mugabe has ruled the country since independence from minority white rule in 1980. Last week, he fired Mnangagwa, accusing him of plotting to take over from him. Mnangagwa, a veteran of the pre-independence liberation war, fled to South Africa soon afterward. More how these African leaders subvert democracy to cling to power for life. More Gucci Grace maneuvers to succeed aging husband. Grace Mugabe has described Mnangagwa as a snake that must be hit on the head and called him a coup plotter soon before he was fired. The First Lady is expected to be appointed vice president by the ruling ZANU party in December and is the favorite to succeed her husband. Grace Mugabe and Mnangagwa's factions within the party had been battling for dominance. At least 3 explosions were heard in Zimbabwe's capital early Wednesday and military vehicles were seen in the streets after the army commander threatened to step in to calm political tensions over 93-year-old President Robert Mugabe's possible time. China, an ally of Mugabe's, said a visit by Zimbabwean Army Commander Gen. Constantino Chiwenga last week to Beijing was a normal and pre-planned military exchange. Zuma's office said the South African defense and security ministers were being sent to meet with Mugabe and officials from Zimbabwe's army. The U.S. Embassy in Harare advised Americans to shelter in place until further notice, it said. Ambassador Harry K. Thomas Jr. had advised embassy employees to stay home on Wednesday, and U.S. government personnel have been told to work from home due to the ongoing political uncertainty. More how these African leaders subvert democracy to cling to power for life due to ongoing uncertainty in Zimbabwe. The U.S. Embassy in Harare will be minimally staffed and closed to the public on November 15. Embassy personnel will continue to monitor the situation closely. At State Dipped, U.S. Embassy Harare at U.S. Embassy Harare November 15, 2017. Reader, share this story http://sussit.ly to obja.